Never sure if it's gonna just keep my camera view, the participants view. All right. We'll give it another 2 minutes, but we can start off just by what you guys are doing, just centering yourselves in, and we're gonna start by doing some pranayama breathing exercises like we've been doing. So in the spring and coming out of winter, the body goes from trying to store a lot of heat inside of it to keep itself warm to letting some of that heat and energy out. And so some of the elements to work on within the body are all your core muscles. So muscles along your spine, muscles along and behind your intestines, along your back. And also the most important elements are going to be to have your respiratory system nice and strong. When you're coming out of winter into spring, your lungs are more exposed to all of the different stuff that's waking up from the ground and from flowers and trees and other various viruses and diseases that are out there. So you want to just make sure the best defense is going to be to keep yourself healthy overall. And one of the most important things the body can do is digest things properly. And so we'll be working on all of the organs along the spine as well, your kidneys and liver. And a lot of that comes from doing twists. And so we'll be doing twists in today's practice. It'll be a mix of some warming and cooling postures because that's kind of the season we're in. It could be below freezing tomorrow and 50 again the next day. So we'll do a mix of both. And I feel like I just heard someone maybe coming up. So, but we're right at 9 o'clock. Like I was saying, so this time of year, there's 3 doshas at play, and vata is air and space, and that's pretty calm right now. And pitta is fire and water, and that's pretty calm right now. But what is waking up and transitioning from dormant to awake is kapha dosha. And kapha dosha is your muscles, your respiratory system, your digestive ability, and we'll be doing the pranayama that we've been doing, which helps with your overall lung capacity and proper filling of the lungs to get the most prana and energy out to your body. And we'll be doing another pranayama for just mental alertness and clarity to wake up the mind a little bit. And once you get used to practicing both of them, they can be really great ways to just kind of start your day or even end your day. And with that being said, I think whoever shows up will show up and we can go ahead and get started. I'll start by asking you to join in a chant of Om with me, and then I will transition into the Gayatri mantra. The Gayatri mantra is a mantra that is some of the first documented Vedic mantras, and a mantra is literally translates into mind protection. And so when you sing a mantra, it's about protecting your mental space and even asking it to waken up and to be energized. And so the Gayatri mantra is one of the more deeply rooted mantras in Vedic text. And it asks for the mind, body, and intellect to all be working together. And so with that being said, we can go ahead and exhale together, and then We'll inhale and chant Om. Om. Bhuvasva tat savitor varenyam Bargo devasya dhimahi Dio yona prachodaya. Oh. As we show up here today, just think to yourself and keep in mind an intention. Why did you come here today? What would you like to receive out of the practice for yourself? What would you perhaps like to leave behind and not have weighing you down anymore? All of these things are possible with yoga. Yoga can help build, it can also help remove. And that's the power of yoga. So what we'll do, get yourself in whatever adjustments or seated comfort you need right now. We'll start by going into some of these pranayama exercises. The first one is nadishodhana. Nadis are energy channels within inside the body, and there's a few that are outside of the body, but most of them are within the body. And according to some texts, there's 70,000 energy channels within the body, and some even reported as 110,000. It's probably somewhere between those. And you may be familiar with the 7 main chakras. Those are the centers of energy that follow along the lines of your constitution, what makes up your personality, what makes up your intellect, what makes up your overall creativity and your digestive ability. And also you're linked to divinity, which is your crown chakra. And so Nadi Shodhana, or channel clearing breath, is designed to balance 2 of your main nadis, or energy channels, and they come through your left and right nostril. This is supposedly the seat of masculine and feminine energy inside the body. They come through your nostril panels. And so there's a hand mudra that you hold your right hand in with your thumb out and your pinky and ring finger. And essentially, you'll exhale fully, and I'll just do a couple cycles just to show you and familiarize you with it. You'll exhale fully, and then you'll put your thumb over your right nostril, just where your bridge and soft tissue meet. And then you'll inhale through your left nostril. And then you'll pause for a moment, and you'll close your left nostril, and then exhale through the right nostril. And then you'll inhale through the right. You'll block your right nostril and exhale through the left. And that's one full cycle. So we're going to go ahead and do about 7 or 8 of them together. And in your own practice, you can certainly do more than that. But to at least start to get some benefits from it, we're going to want to do at least 7 or 8 together. Okay. And so we'll exhale fully. We'll rise our crown up out of our sits bones here. And then we'll block our right nostril and inhale through our left. And we'll block our left. And we'll exhale through our right. We'll inhale right. We'll block our right and exhale through our left. Inhale left. And we'll exhale right. We'll inhale through our right. We'll block our right and exhale through our left. Just go ahead and do 4 more. We'll inhale through our left. We'll block our left and exhale through our right. Inhale right. We'll block our right and exhale through our left. See if you can do the next 3 by yourself here at your own pace. Inhaling left. Blocking our left and exhaling through your right. Start to notice the sensation of your lungs exchanging space with each other. We'll do 1 more full cycle, ending on an exhale of the left nostril. You can start to sense your body balancing its own energy out here. The 5th limb of yoga is pratyahara, and it's, in terms of body function, it's towards the inner sensing side of yoga, to where you start to pay attention to what's going on when you pay attention and listen to your organs, to your breathing. Start to pay attention to how your body feels. And this is the road towards meditation. It starts with just drawing your senses inward and being able to listen to what's going on inside of you. And so that's just something to keep in mind as we go through practice today, is just listening to what's happening as we're going through the postures. And one of the Sanskrit phrases I like the best is sthira sukham asanam, which stands for sweet and steady posture. It is part of that inner sensing where you listen to your body, you find posture positioning that's comfortable for you, that feels nice, but that you can also sustain and keep consistently doing. And so if there's ever postures you see me doing and you find it hard to maybe keep up or match with that, I'll be trying to pay attention and help guide you through maybe different foot placements or hand placements. But also you're going to be your own best teacher in that by listening to your own body and sensing what feels nice. And that phrase is sthira sukhamasana. It's listening and learning and understanding what feels sweet to your body, but what also feels sustainable to your body. We're going to go ahead and do 1 more pranayama, which is kapalabhati, which stands for skull shining breath. And it's a great mind and neural wake up for your body. And so it does require a little bit of an explanation and setup. And just like Tanya's doing, if you need to adjust between practices, feel free to shift your legs or knees around. So kapalabhati, you basically will exhale, and I'll do a couple just to explain what it's like, and then we can do it together. We'll do 3 cycles of it together. Essentially, you're going to exhale And then you're going to inhale about 2/3 of your lung capacity. And then you're going to blow quick, short breaths out your nostrils, and your body will passively do the inhaling for you. So you really just have to focus on the exhale part of it. And you don't necessarily have to try to match my rhythm, but just find your own rhythm that's comfortable for you as we do it. And it can feel a little unorthodox at first, but it's really just about that inner sensing and paying attention to what feels right as you're doing it. And just know that your body will do the inhaling part for you. So just really focus on the exhaling part of it. I'll just demonstrate maybe 5 times of it. So I'm going to exhale fully and then inhale about 2/3 of the way. It's just like blowing out a candle, just a quick breath out your nostrils, and it's going to create like a billowing effect in your lungs where it's going to really wake up all of the nerves inside your lungs that draw in oxygen. And it also will wake up the nerves in your brain and wake up your brain function. So do as much as feels comfortable for you, and at any time just come out of it and go back to your normal breathing pattern. And you can do anywhere from just a few up to 10, 20, or 30 at a time. And we'll do 3 repetitions of it, okay? And so we'll exhale together. We'll inhale about 2/3. And then quick short breaths. As long as it feels comfortable for you, it's just about listening to your own rhythm here. And just, if it's a slow pace or a fast pace, just try to keep the pace consistent for what works for you. We'll go ahead and exhale again. We'll come to 2/3 full and begin. I find about 15 or 20 in is about what my body wants to do. So as you practice that, you can gradually lengthen it out to around 30 times for each repetition. You may notice after the second time, you start to feel a little bit of some energy building up in your body now. So we'll do this one more time. We'll exhale. We'll come to 2/3 full and begin. Now just let that go. Come back to your normal recovery breathing, just your normal unguided breath here. We're going to switch into some warm-ups to get our bodies moving now a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start off in the same seated position. So we're going to come into child's posture, and we're going to basically rise up out of child's posture and rise back down into it. And we'll really just kind of increase that theme of getting our lungs really functioning and pushing some prana in and out of us here. So we'll go ahead and we'll come onto our knees here. If you need a blanket, I don't mind giving up mine here if that's more comfortable for your knees. And remember, the theme of the day here is Thyada Sukham Asanam. You want to listen to what feels comfortable for you before you begin. And so get yourself nice and situated here. We'll inhale up and come down into child's posture. Just do some deep breathing here for a few cycles. Arms can be out in front or back by your sides. Your hips can be right on your ankles, or your feet can be to the sides of your hips. That depends on your level of comfort. Now rise up to a seated position just by lifting your torso up here. And we'll inhale and come up overhead. And we'll exhale slowly, come down. We'll pull our hands back by our sides. And we'll inhale and come up overhead again. We'll exhale slowly down. We'll pull our hands back to our sides. And it's kind of like a butterfly motion here. We'll inhale and we'll come up again. We'll come down to pranayama here in just prayer position for a second. And does that feel okay and comfortable to everyone so far? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a couple more cycles like that. We'll inhale and come up overhead. We'll exhale down. We'll pull our hands back by our shoulders and inhale up and over. We'll do two more and exhale down. Draw our hands back to our sides. And we'll inhale up and overhead here. We'll exhale down. Head reaches away from tail here. Hands slide back by our sides. And we'll inhale, we'll come up overhead. And this time we'll bring our hands into prayer and come back down in front of heart center here. Right now, just bring your senses inward and listen to your breath. If Ujjayi breath is in your practice, go ahead and start to bring Ujjayi breath in. And for those of you unfamiliar with it, Ujjayi breath is also called ocean breath. It's like fogging a mirror, but with your mouth closed. And you can hear the sound of the waves of the ocean breathing in and out of your lungs here, if you're able to listen and use that inner sensing. Start to hear that breath inside between your ear space. We'll go ahead and place our left hand by our side, and we'll bring our feet out from under us, and we'll bring them out in front of us here. Into Dandasana, or staff position here. Go ahead and loosen up your feet. We'll roll them around a little bit and wake them up from sitting on them a little bit. We're going to go into Pasha Matanasana, which is seated forward bend. But I want you to remember what we talked about finding what's sweet and steady for you. Okay, so if it's uncomfortable to have your thighs completely flat on the ground, you can go ahead and raise your legs up just a little bit and give yourself some space in the back of your thighs here. If it's comfortable for you to be flat on the ground, then follow along with that. In this position, it's key to really root your sits bones down. Those two bones that are at the end of your legs are actually what you sit on when you're on your hips on the ground here. Your hips aren't actually grounded. It's actually the very ends of your leg bones, your femurs here. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to inhale with me. And we're going to exhale down towards our feet, but go down to whatever amount is comfortable for you. We'll exhale and we'll come down together. And then we're going to do a couple breathing cycles here in forward bend. And on each exhale, try to lengthen yourself just a little bit from tail to crown of your head. So we'll inhale, and then on our exhale, we'll try to lengthen down just a little bit. And listen to your body here. You don't want to overstretch or force yourself into any type of posture. Get used to your lungs working when they're compressed. Most of life demands that you're in a twist or a bend or a stretch. So we're going to just condition our bodies to get used to that. And so we'll go ahead and come back out of that and sit up for a second here. We'll rise our crown out of our tailbone here, and our sits bones are grounding. There's a little bit of buoyancy that gets created when you shift your consciousness to your crown. And by rising your crown up, energetically, it's going to give you a little bit of a lift in your torso. So we're going to make room for our organs here. We're going to inhale and come up overhead. And one more time, we're going to exhale first. And then we'll come down and bend as whatever amount is comfortable for you forward here. Some people can grab the ends of their feet. I've never been that kind of person, but I can come maybe about halfway down. We'll go ahead and we'll try the same thing here. We'll exhale, and as we exhale, maybe lengthen through our spine and our crown. And we'll just gently allow the weight of our torso to come down towards our legs here. On our next inhale, we'll come up with our arms overhead. And then we'll place our hands down by our sides here like so. And we'll place our feet on the ground. And we'll shift ourselves onto our back here into wind relieving posture. So from here, we'll just keep our feet on the ground. And on our next exhale, we'll bring our knees up to our chest here. And for hand placement, you can go in front of the knees up top, or if it's more comfortable to bring your hands behind your thighs, either one is fine. And I want you to use your pratyahara, your inner sensing, to breathe deep here and feel the oxygen in your lungs start to waken up your back muscles here. Using that ujjayi breath we were working on, where you can listen to the sound of your breathing rolling in and out through your inhales, through your nostrils if you can. Feel that compression in your lungs. We're waking them up here by sponging them and compressing them. Now switch your hands to just your left knee, your left thigh, and we'll exhale and bring our right leg down. This is half wind relieving posture. Gently hug your left knee or your left leg towards your chest here. While at the same time, you still want to be breathing deep, and focus your breathing through, visualize your breath coming through your navel and up to the top of your soft palate and back out. And as you inhale, your breath comes through your navel. We're picturing it entering through our navel and up our spine, and exhaling out through our soft palate, through our nostrils here. We exhale and we inhale through our navel here. We'll picture our breath rising up our spine. And then we're going to exhale and bring our left leg down. And on our next inhale, we'll bring our right leg back up here. So we'll hold our hands behind our right thigh or on front of our right knee. This time we're going to do the opposite. We're going to picture our breath coming through our nostrils, traveling all the way down our spine and out our navel here. So picture your breath coming through your nostrils and exhaling all the way down your spine and out your navel here. Go ahead and do 2 more breaths here, paying attention with your inner vision on this cycle of the way the energy is traveling through you as we breathe. And on your next exhale, we'll bring our right leg all the way down. We'll go ahead and place our hands by our side. And we'll come up to seated. And then we'll go ahead and come up very gently, slowly, at your own pace. We'll come back up to a standing position here. Take a moment to just settle in and get acclimated to standing here again. In standing position, this is called Tadasana or mountain posture. And one way to really root yourself down and get yourself settled in here is to lift up your toes. We'll gently yield our thighs just a little bit. And we'll give ourselves just a little bend in the knees. So we'll pick up our toes. We'll root our heel and our 2 toe balls. And we'll gently yield here. And we're also going to rise our head and crown up as we root our tailbone through our feet into the ground here. We're going to do a few half sun salutations here to start warming up our core. And we'll follow along together by doing an inhale up. We'll exhale down. And your chest can rest on your thighs here, which is more important than your knees being straight here. We'll inhale, but come halfway up. We'll reach our tail away from our crown. Then we'll exhale down. We'll inhale as we bring our arms out and up. We'll bring our hands together and exhale with our hands down over our center to our heart space. Then we'll release that down. And that's one Adha Surya Namaskar, one half sun salutation. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we're rooted here. We'll inhale, arms come up overhead. We'll exhale. We'll inhale halfway up. We'll exhale. We'll inhale, arms all the way up here. We'll exhale down. We're going to go do 2 more, and I want you to do these next ones at your own pace, but just remembering when we go into extension, it's inhales. When we go into retracting in, it's an inhale. So we're gonna inhale as we come up, and we're gonna exhale as we go down, and transition by using the breath here. We'll inhale up, whatever pace feels comfortable. We'll exhale down. We'll come up on an inhale. We'll exhale as we come back into ourselves. Do this last one on your own here, at your own pace. Inhaling as you go up. Exhaling as you go down. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to go ahead and do a full sun salutation here. We're not going to do too many here because there's some more core stuff I want to do. Well, let's go ahead and do a full Surya Namaskar here. And if you're unfamiliar, you can watch the first full sequence and I'll try to talk you through it. We'll go ahead and do 2 instead of just 1. So we'll inhale, we'll come up overhead. We'll exhale as we come down. We'll inhale halfway up. We'll exhale down, and this time we're going to place our hands on the ground and we're going to step our right leg back and lower our knee down here. And we'll inhale and come up overhead. We'll exhale down and we'll place our hands firmly and push, extending our left foot behind us and come into downward facing dog. We'll exhale and come down. 8 limbs touching or straight on through to up dog on an inhale or cobra. And we'll push from our hands all the way back to our tail and come up into downward facing dog again. And we'll place our left knee down and we'll step our right foot up here. Come up into a low lunge and we'll inhale up overhead. We'll exhale down and we'll place our hands on the ground. We'll extend our left foot back and we'll step forward and through. And we'll come into Ardha Uttasana, half fold. Exhale down. We'll inhale and come up all the way up top again. And we'll exhale down. Was that comfortable for everyone? Okay. We'll go ahead and do one more Surya Namaskar. Get the full body working here. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale down. We'll inhale halfway. Exhale down. This time we'll bring our left foot behind us and lower our knee, making sure our right foot and ankle are under our right knee as we inhale and come all the way up. We'll exhale down. We'll press firmly into our hands all the way back to our tail as we exhale and come up into downward facing dog. And then from here, we'll come down into 8 limbs touching or straight through to cobra or up dog. Then we'll exhale and push from our hands back into our tail and come up into downward facing dog rather. And this time we're going to place our right knee down and we'll step through and bring our left foot up in front of us here, making sure that our support is there before we move, and we'll inhale and come up. Finding our sweet and steady posture here, we'll exhale down and place our hands by our front foot. We'll extend our back foot as we push off and step up into Ardha Uttasana, half forward fold. Exhale down. And we'll inhale, we'll come all the way up overhead again. And we'll exhale. Start to feel the energy moving here and just come back to a normal recovery breath here. Waking up those organs and getting them gently squeezed, and the more your organs get moved around and woken up like this, the more vitality they'll have, and they'll be able to help you with digestion. As we open up class, we talked about digestion being one of the key parts to your health overall. So today's postures are trying to wake up not only your respiratory system, but also just to really enliven your organs here. So we're going to come into utkatasana, or fierce posture. We come to that out of mountain. We'll remember to root our feet back down here and yield gently into our thighs. And as we come into utkatasana, we'll inhale up overhead. You can keep your arms up as you sit back like this, or you can keep them in prayer position, whichever is more comfortable for you here. We'll just do a few breaths here. Fierce posture, utkatasana. This is a posture of action, so it will require some concentration to stay here. We'll inhale and we'll come back up overhead. And we'll bring our hands together and come back into pranayama for a second here. So for utkatasana, it's one of those postures where you kind of just want to feel your body and feel how comfortable it is within that posture, and not try to overstrain or sit too low into it. And also a key element to remember is the length you can keep from your tail to your crown here. So as we come up, we'll inhale up. We'll keep that length from tail to crown, and then we'll exhale down. And hands can be up overhead or in prayer position here. This is a great way to really channel into your body here and get yourself really comfortable with paying attention to the sweetness and steadiness. Does it feel good here? And can you be steady here? We'll let go of that and inhale and come back up overhead. We'll exhale. We'll do one more and then we'll come into tree position here. We'll inhale up, and as we inhale, we'll sit, exhaling down at the bottom of the posture here. Now do a few breathing cycles here. In this posture, really remember Ujjayi breath. That's going to help you here if you feel a little tense. Remember your breathing here. We'll let go of that and we'll come back up. Inhale up overhead and let that go. And we'll just come back to a normal posture. Shake it out if you need to. We'll move around for a second. Vrikshasana is tree posture. And so if you need to use the wall to help, you can gently just keep a hand placed at the wall. And there's several spots for a tree. You want to root with your planted foot. So for this, we'll use our left foot. And for our right foot, we want to come anywhere at ankle height, calf height, or inner thigh height. The only don't in this position is on your knee. So don't rest your foot on your knee here. So we'll come up either over the knee or at the calf or ankle. And it helps to pick a point to stare at in front of you. And if you need to, just reset at any time, yielding down, getting your planted foot, your left foot firm, and then inhaling, rising up to your position. This is a great place for pratyahara, inner sensing. And it also works on sweet and steady posture because you have to pay attention to how your body is feeling. We'll exhale and let that go at any time. I like tree because it's one of those postures where you can't think of anything else. It's all just in your mind, bringing your senses in. It's really kind of a meditative posture, even in that sense. And so what we'll do here is, I had a right knee injury, and somatically my mind still favors it a little bit. So I tend to start my posture with a little bit of assistance here. We'll root our foot down, our right side this time, just like we were doing to set up for utkatasana, but then instead we'll rise up with our left foot, and anywhere along your ankle, calf, or inner thigh, and pick a point to focus on in front of your vision here. Remembering to keep your breath about you if you can. Hand position is completely a personal choice here. Pranayama, talasana, hands overhead. I came up with this one. It's holding the world, because I feel like this with my kids. Whatever you need to get out of your hand position, it can really change the whole posture depending on where you place them. And feel free to stay as long as you want in that last tree. When you're ready to come out of it, gently exhale and plant your foot in the air firmly next to your rooted foot. Nice job. Good forest. Nice trees. So we'll come into a couple of warrior transitions, and we'll do a few triangles and twists, which is kind of in the core of our program today, our practice today. So we get into warrior 1 and 2 by going initially like we would into utkatasana. So we'll inhale, we'll sit down, and this time we'll bring our hands to prayer, and we'll step back our right foot and gently open it out. So we'll step our right foot back and bring it out just maybe, I don't know, 30 degrees or 2 o'clock, whatever, whoever came up with those directions. It's kind of silly, but I think you follow me. So I'll just take a look here. It looks nice. And so you want to just kind of line up your front heel, two things, your knee over your ankle here, and also the back of your heel about even with your heel behind you, your back foot. And so everyone looks pretty nice there. This is going to be your sweet and steady posture. Out too much, it can be hurting your hip. In too much, you can really throw your balance off. So you want to just find that middle ground, the sweet and steadiness of the posture here. So your front knee should be just over your ankle, and we'll inhale, we'll come up overhead. We'll push our back foot up towards our crown. We'll push our front foot up towards our crown. We'll do a couple of breaths here, focusing in front of us. This too is a balancing posture. But it's more just feeling the core itself. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1 is the warrior surveying the land in front of itself. And then we'll open our hips, we'll pivot our right foot almost at a 45 to us, and then we'll sit down into the posture here. If you need to wiggle and walk your foot here, you still want to try to keep your knee over your ankle in front. We'll exhale, we'll come down into the posture, arms reaching away from us here. Hands can be up towards divinity, down towards grounding, maybe one of each if you want to keep it balanced. We'll do some deep breaths here, same theory about the ankle placement. You want to just make sure your front heel and your back heel are lined up. Push into your feet pads all the way up to your crown of your head. And your chin gently up off of your shoulders here. We'll do a few breaths here in this balanced pose. Warrior 2 is the warrior of action. So now that you've surveyed the land in Warrior 1, in Warrior 2, we come into a state of action. It's almost like you're about to leap off a building. So here we want to pivot our back foot, and as we pivot our back foot, we lower and step forward here. We'll go ahead and release that, and we'll just let our energy relax for a moment. Let our breathing go for a second here. We'll reroot our tree, our mountain posture here. And we'll bring our arms up overhead on an inhale. And we'll gently step down. And this time we'll bring our left foot back and slightly open. We'll keep our right heel and knee over each other in front. We'll line up our ankles to each other or our heels to each other. And your foot plate is made up of two components. Your 3 smaller toes sit here. Your 2 bigger toes sit on top of it like here. So in this practice, you're actually pulling your toe plates apart a little and just making extra space here. So that can help to kind of remember that if you lift up your outside foot here, you can reach back your toes and really get some nice stretching in your foot plate there. We'll inhale, we'll come up overhead. Pick a spot in front of your gaze, or if closing your eyes is in your practice and you want to inner sense here, feel free. And we'll exhale, we'll open our hips up and we'll pivot our foot out and we'll come down into Warrior 2 here. Remembering to keep your feet in front here, your ankle and your knee tracking over each other. We'll exhale and we'll sit into the posture a little bit here and we'll pick a focus spot in front of us. What are you preparing yourself for in Warrior 2? You've already thought about it in Warrior 1, and in Warrior 2, you're ready to act. And what are you preparing to act on in your life? What are you getting ready to act on? It requires focus, it requires patience, it requires a healthy body and mind working together. We'll exhale and we'll pivot our back foot forward, and then we'll gently step forward up again. So now that we've gotten that, I think what I'll do is we'll do a little bit of triangle so I can just get you starting to get used to the concept. So triangle is a little bit like Warrior 1, but instead of moving whichever the back foot is out, we're going to keep it facing forward. So our 2 feet are going to still be the same, except for we're not going to pivot the foot here. So we're going to keep our hips lined up with our ankles. And you can do left or right foot here, either one. And what we're going to do here is come into triangle. And I'm going to just show you a couple ways to get into triangle here. If you want to inhale with your arms up overhead and come into pranayama here, this can be your triangle, okay? If you want to exhale as you come up overhead, inhale and then exhale down, keep your legs straight here and forward fold. You can come down to your thigh here and keep your hands on your thigh, or you can rest your torso on your front leg here and bring your hands to the ground. This is another triangle here. This is really key that you pay attention to what is sweet and steady to you, okay? Don't try to overextend here or force yourself into anything. And if an open twist is in your practice, the third stage of this would be to, on an exhale, bring your right arm up and keep your left arm rooted here. So that is the full extension of the triangle. If you need to just keep forward down here, that's fine. Or if you need to just keep in pranayama here, that's also fine. So nice job. This is the organ gently squeezing and twisting here to wake them up. So stay here as long as it's comfortable. When you need to, on your next exhale, come back to center with your hands down by your feet. Then we'll inhale and we'll rise our torso up off of our legs, still rooting our feet here. And then we'll exhale. And then we'll push off from our back foot and step up to our front foot. Does that feel okay for everyone there? Triangle is another concentration pose, and you can do a lot out of triangle. You can do a lot of twists. You can do a lot of concentrated postures there. Really great for your core. All of the stuff we're working on to increase our digestion. We'll raise our inner energy, our Agni, which is fire, our inner fire. Because all of your digestion is dependent on how well your body can burn through what it needs to burn through. It's like alchemy. So if your body is going to take in whatever it's taking in, it needs to burn hot enough and clean enough to process whatever it needs to. Some stuff it's going to burn off and get rid of that you don't want, like disease and sick. And some of it you want to burn and your metabolism turns it into you. And so in either circumstance, you want to just make sure that your furnace or your oven, your Agni, is burning nice and hot. And so all of these postures center around your breathing, and your breathing is going to increase your digestive ability. So we're going to go ahead. We'll reroot ourselves here with our feet about shoulder width apart here, or even if it's within your practice to keep your feet together, that's fine. We're going to inhale and come up overhead this time. We're going to sit, but halfway in our sit, we're going to bring our right foot back, or whichever opposite side you're going to do here from last time in triangle. Now, we want to make sure support precedes action here. So we want to get ourselves really nicely supported. Our feet are still shoulder width apart and pointing towards the front of our mat here. And this will really tell you how your balance is doing. Okay? Pay attention how that feels for you. And if you're a little bit too out, you'll notice maybe a little pinch along your sacrum there. If you're a little too in, you might notice your sense of balance is thrown off. So if you're able to pay attention here to your body, it'll really tell you where that balance is, okay? So you always want to listen to your body first before you move in these postures. It's just like in life, you want to make sure you look before you leap, or you look before you do these postures. And the look that we're doing is using our inner sensing. So now that we got our feet settled here, we'll come up into pranayama here. We'll just do the opposite side here. Inhale, we'll come up. If all you can do is exhale and come to pranayama here, that's fine. If you want to exhale all the way down, keep your legs straight here, and we'll bend at the hip and move a bandha, your belly pit here. And if you need to, stay here, or if you'd like to come into an open side twist here, come on into that. It's another concentration pose mixed with balance and core. Nice job. stay here for however is long and comfortable for you. On an exhale, you can come out of it and come back to center. And we'll come up with our arms overhead on an inhale. Exhale, and we'll yield gently down and we'll step off our back foot and forward. Nice job. Just pay attention for a moment here and notice the difference from when we started to where we are now. Your body's more awake, the energy's moving. We've twisted and bent and folded and extended here. What I want to do now is come into child's pose, but we'll do it by coming up with an inhale. We'll exhale down. We'll step our left leg back and lower our knee. And then we'll step our right leg back and lower our knee. And then we'll gently come down into child's pose here again. So we started in child's pose and we'll come back to child's pose, full cycle here. This time I just want you to either keep your hands by your shoulders or you can keep your hands out in front of you. Now, when you picture your breathing here, I want you to picture breathing from your navel up to your crown, the crown of your head, inhaling through your navel, exhaling out your crown. Inhale through your navel, exhale through your crown. Inhale navel, exhale through our crown. And if your hands are not in front of you, which everyone has their hands in front, what we'll do here is we'll lean slightly to our right and we'll extend our left foot back, like so. And then we'll lean to the left and extend our right foot back, and we'll come down into Sphinx posture here. Salamba Bhujangasana. So for Sphinx, and I'll move back just so we can see in the back row, you want to make sure that your shoulder is behind your elbow here. So your elbow should be slightly in front of your shoulder. Your palms actually have an energy channel right in the middle of them called your bandha, or referred to as a bandha. And you can either tent your fingers here in Sphinx, or you can have your palms flat on the ground. So we have our arm flat, our palms flat, and our forearm here. And we want to gently push into our hands all the way back to our tail here, okay? So we'll gently push, and that push will give us a little bit of a rise and opening in front of our torso here. We want to keep our shoulders wide, our elbows even with our shoulders, our elbows even with our wrists as we push into the ground back to our tail. We'll let our head gently rest in the center here between our shoulders here, knowing that our arms and forearms and hands are creating a cradle here for our neck and head to rest. Go ahead and just breathe here. Remember that Ujjayi breath if you can. On an exhale, we'll slightly peer up and over our left shoulder here. Any amount which is comfortable. Don't feel like you got to strain. We'll exhale and we'll come down into center again. On your next inhale, we'll slightly peer over our right shoulder here. And we'll exhale and come back down into the center. Go ahead and do that cycle 2 more times at your own pace. We'll inhale and come up over our left shoulder here. We'll exhale back to center and relax. Let our tension in our neck go here. We'll inhale, we'll come up gently and feel over our right shoulder. And go ahead and do that one more time. What I want to do now is we'll let all of that go and we'll put our hands over the top of each other here like so. And we'll come into what's called crocodile, which is an interesting posture. It's just a reverse of shavasana. So we're on our belly here. Place our hands over each other and just gently rest your forehead on the back of your top hand here. Now you'll notice a little bit of compression and your lung space getting a little bit tight here, but that's with a purpose. We want to actually picture breathing into our back space here. Something that I never really even considered or thought of when I began practicing yoga is breathing into my back here. But you want to just focus that breath. We'll breathe into our back space here. Our lungs are really the powerhouse for all of the rest of the energy in our body. And so we want to pay attention to all the directions that our prana is flowing. 360 degrees in all directions, radiating out from our lungs. With each inhale, picture energy radiating like the sun from your lungs out into the very fine ends of your toes and your fingers. If you're able to use your ujjayi breath here, you're going to really enjoy that. As we picture the prana radiating like the sun from our lung space here. If you do this practice enough, you can even start to feel a little relief from areas in your body that may be numb. If you can sense into those areas that you're having numbness, maybe it's an old injury, maybe it's bad posture, maybe it's working at a desk your whole life. Breathe into those spaces where it's tight. Picture your breath like a ribbon floating around and through these tight spots, gently massaging them free. In this way, your inner sensing, your pratyahara, can become medicine for you. And you can use your breath to really start to feel into these areas of pain energetically that are stored in your body. And your breath has a way of dissolving these tensions inside of you if you're able to focus your breathing into them. So with this, I want to transition. We'll bring our hands, when you're ready, to our shoulders here, about even with our shoulders. And on an inhale, we'll come up into cobra. And we'll just hold that for a second. And we'll exhale, come down. We'll inhale and we'll come up again into cobra. And this time I want you to extend your right hand and we'll start to bring our legs forward and in front of us here. Find your way gently and comfortably back into a seated position here. We'll come into Dandasana one more time, or staff position. And go ahead and we'll just let that energy settle again here. If you want, roll your shoulders, bounce your legs here for a moment. I have about 10 minutes left here, so I want to go ahead and do a spinal twist one more time. We'll place our hands behind us and we'll gently get ourselves down into Shavasana. But before we begin Shavasana, I want to bring our feet up and plant our feet here. And we'll go ahead and we'll bring our right foot up and over and rest our ankle on our left knee here. Just like that. Yep. Nice. So if this is as far as you're comfortable, stay here. If you can do a twist here, I'm going to encourage you to gently let your right foot here find its way down to the ground, and keep your arms out at your sides or by your sides. Either one is fine. This is a really nice full body twist here. Your head should be opposite of your foot. So if we're down with our right foot on the ground on our left side, our head is going to peer over our right and gently up. And now our spine is fully twisted from one end to the other. Your health, not only with your digestion and your breathing being at optimal levels, all of that is dependent on your spine being alive and energized. And so with all of these twists, not only have we been working on our energy through our lungs and our digestion, but our center energy channel, Sushumna Nadi. Sushumna Nadi is your energy channel inside your spinal column. And when our masculine and feminine energies are full, our spinal energy is fully alive. So we'll go ahead and we'll come out of this by extending our left foot and unwinding our right foot. And we'll come back center here. We'll place our knees down again. And this time we'll bring our left foot up to our right knee, having our ankle right around where our knee is. And we'll exhale and come down with our left foot over our right side. And we'll gently peer our head to the left this time, away from our knees. If you have to come out of this at any time, feel free. You want to be your own judge here, your own guide here, your own partner here. Listen to your body. And when you feel like you've gotten everything you need from that, we're going to go ahead and bring our knees up against the heart center. We're going to have our feet planted. We can go ahead and either bring our knees up here. We can extend them up overhead, or you can keep your feet planted, whichever one is most comfortable. So feet planted, knees to chest here, or feet in the air. So I want to encourage you to stay in this posture as long as you need to, because it's really soothing. And at any point, lower your legs and just come down into Shavasana. And that's where we'll finish our program today, our practice here. Go ahead and find your way into Shavasana. Shavasana is a time to come back to ourselves, to let go of who we think we are on our physical level, who we think we are in our mental space, who we show that we are in our actions, and just to let all of those identities go at the moment. Shavasana is also called corpse position because we're inviting ourselves to let parts of us that we no longer need to die away, or to cast off, or to shed from us. As we find ourselves in Shavasana, just let go of whatever breathing you think you need here and just come back to what your body wants. Not controlling our breath in any way. Feeling very comfortable here, just letting go of our identity, any control over ourselves that we're trying to impose, whether realized or subconsciously. And we'll just ask the creative force that made all of this universe happen to put back the parts and pieces of ourselves that we do need, knowing that there's a greater wisdom at play here in our lives, and trusting that we already have everything we need to be what we want to be who we are. Let go of what no longer serves you here. I'm going to chant the Gayatri mantra one more time, and then we'll come into a seated position. Om Bhurabhuvasva Tatsavator Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodhyat. Om. We are at time, but feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you need to. Or you can join me in seated position whenever it's comfortable for you. Spring must be on its way because a ladybug decided to join our yoga class here. Probably working on child's pose. It's kind of built that way. Okay, well, that was interesting. Thank you for showing up to practice today. And I want to just take this last moment here to take the time to honor yourself for showing up for your body, showing up for your mind, showing up for your actions. These are the three parts of karma: your thoughts, your words, and your actions. We'll say Om together. Exhale fully. We'll inhale. Om. And I just want to say thank you and bow to you all here. Thank you for a nice practice today. As we begin waking up our body from the winter, just knowing that we may have another snowstorm or two in mind. It is New England after all. But we got to keep it balanced. So we'll go with what the season presents us here. And hopefully that's a nice way to wake up your body and your breath and your mind. And have a great weekend. Thanks for joining. Kristen, right? Yeah. Nice to see you again, Kristen. Nice to have you here, Jackie and Tanya. Yeah. Enjoy the day. Hopefully you guys have some outdoor plans, or at least you'll have nice weather running errands, whatever life asks of you.
Thank you, Nate.